I have to be honest, when I first stepped on board a Disney Cruise Line, I had almost no idea of how the tipping worked on board. And from what I have heard from friends, I was not alone in my confusion, but now that I've been on several Disney cruise adventures and done a little bit of homework, I have a better idea of how tipping works on the cruise line. Let's start off first with what Disney says about gratuities on the Disney Cruise Line. It is customary to give gratuities in recognition of exceptional service, which you'll receive in abundance on board the ship. The following amounts, which Disney has included in this chart, are provided as a suggestion, but the gratuity you pay is always at your discretion. Disney goes on to tell us that if you wish to pay the suggested gratuity amounts listed on this page for your party based on the length of your cruise, you have two easy options. Option 1, you can pay the suggested gratuities in advance by contacting Disney Cruise Line no later than 3 days before your cruise begins. Option 2, you can pay by automatically having the suggested gratuities added to your onboard account prior to the end of your cruise. It may seem clear to those who have cruised before, but if you haven't cruised before, I can understand your confusion. Basically, Disney has suggested gratuities for the dining room server, dining room assistant server, dining room head server, and stateroom host/hostess. They suggest this amount, and if you don't change anything, it will be added to your bill at the end of your adventure. However, you can add or subtract from this number at your discretion. You can make these changes anytime at the guest services desk located on Deck 3 midships. On top of that, there is a 15% gratuity that is automatically added to bar, beverage, wine, and desk service tabs. For those who enjoy the Senses Spa and Salon, there is an 18% gratuity that is also automatically added. At the end of your adventure, you'll find a piece of paper, probably in your stateroom, where it will indicate how much you have tipped to the stateroom host and the servers, and those 4 positions that do automatically get tipped unless you change it. Along with that piece of paper, you'll get several small envelopes that you can use to add an optional additional tip, or just include a small piece of that perforated paper that you can tear off and put into that small envelope and present to your hostess or your server or whoever you'd like to tip. I try to use these envelopes on board whenever possible to present my server or hostess with that tip and tell them how much I appreciated them taking care of me on the adventure. But if you do forget, and maybe you've already added additional amounts at guest services desk beforehand and you didn't hand them that little envelope at the end of the adventure, it's not a problem. They will still receive that tip at the end even if you forget to hand it to them. It's just an additional amount, maybe some cash that you wanted to put inside that envelope that you would have to hand to them. Otherwise, it's done through guest services desk. Now, besides those 4 automatically tipped positions, I do recommend bringing small bills with you for those porters and bus drivers and excursion operators. Obviously, this is for service that is above and beyond, but if you've never been on a Disney cruise before, you will be shocked how much of the service really impresses you. Along with those who handle your bags and take you to the port and take you on exciting excursions, let's not forget about those room service hosts. Unless you're getting something special with an additional fee, room service on the Disney Cruise Line is included with the price of your cruise. However, the gratuity for those who bring the food to you is not included, so I do recommend handing them a few small bills if you would like to. Again, it is at your discretion, but I like to whenever I order room service just to show how much I appreciate it. If you're looking for an amount to give to that room service host, I recommend between $1 and $2 per person that you're getting that room service for. Now, believe it or not, on the Disney Cruise Line, there are some positions that do not accept tips, and you should definitely not offer it to them. That's those who work in the nursery and the cast members at the Kids Club. They are not allowed to accept tips. Instead, a great way to thank them is on that comment card, or if you find their supervisor, just let them know how great of a job they are doing. It does help. Last but certainly not least, let's not forget the talented server staff at Palo and Remy. Yes, there is an additional cost to Palo or Remy on board the Disney Cruise Line. However, the service is apparently, and I have never been at the time of filming, some of the best on board. Now, I have heard that the servers do get a portion of that fee that you pay to go to Palo or Remy, but from what I have heard, it's not too much, so giving a little bit extra for that exceptional service definitely would make their day. How much you decide to tip on the Disney Cruise Line is totally up to you and the service that you receive. For me personally, I have never changed the suggested tip amount. I just leave it right at where it is, and then I will add more to those little envelopes at the end of my adventure for service that was really above and beyond. But that's just me. Maybe you tip totally differently and pay it all in advance, or put more of it into that envelope at the end. Let me know your thoughts about tipping on the Disney Cruise Line in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. you. Thank you so much for being a part of the magic with me. Until next time, have a magical day.